you want to have a cool Discord profile like this, or like this, or do you want a cool looking rentry like this? Well, this is the place for you. Hello Nekoma, I'm xenon, coming to you live from your own air vents. I desperately need a new intro, and in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to make cool, cutesy graphics for your profiles and rentries, and maybe even more. In all honesty, I am like beyond terrible at explaining things, so if you have any questions, you don't understand anything, ask me in the comments below. I'm always really quick to respond to comments and stuff. I check and like every single comment made on my video, so if you need help, you don't understand something, just let me know, I'll help you. Another thing I would like to mention, every single asset that I've made in this video will be for download. There is going to be a link in the description, a Google Drive link of all the assets that I made during this video, so you can use them completely for free, with or without credit. The members of my Discord server actually got early access to all these assets, so if you would like early access to some things used in video or some video sneak peeks, join my Discord server. The link for that is also below. So to start with making a profile picture, you want to choose a square canvas of any size. I usually like to choose 2K or 3K because it makes it high quality, but usually still keeps it a small enough file to still upload to places, because sometimes some sites will complain if your file is too fat. So usually I just stick to 2K or 3K. You can use any sort of drawing program. I just choose IBIS because that's just what I have, because I'm cheap and stupid and I don't have Photoshop. A drawing tablet is not required, but it's preferred, I guess. Or if you're doing this on phone, just use your fingers or like whatever. Use the kaleidoscope ruler and you can choose how many you want, and you can just kind of go crazy drawing whatever you want. Depending on the type of frame you want, you might want to go different. So I'm actually using my mind immediately. I'm gonna go 12. You just kind of draw. Obviously that's really bad, so don't do that. Do it better. Hopefully your lines are more stable than mine, and if not, use my trusty liquify pen. Bucket tool. Make a heart, because yes. Can I make it symmetrical? Hell no, but we're gonna try. And once you've drawn that, you want to make sure it doesn't fill up the entire canvas. You want it to be a little smaller. So I messed up, like this or something. Round it. I'm just gonna round up to 85. So something like this. You can choose to blur it a little bit if you like. I usually don't like doing it because I feel like, I don't know, it just like looks a little weird, but you can blur it if you want so it can blend more into the background, but I just feel like it just looks strange. I don't know. I don't like doing it. So I don't personally do it, but you can if you want to. You can add other effects to it. I see a lot of other times people put like little objects around it, and I get those from Pinterest and search up. Usually what I search up is overlay PNG, and it'll usually give you little shapes and stuff, or shape PNG, just keywords basically. As you can tell, this one gives you more like stuff, little things like this, like little sparkles. I've seen like swirls and things too. Me personally, I kind of want something like heart related, or like a bow, because I just saw a bow right there, so I'm gonna look up bow PNG, and it's probably gonna give me like actual bows. And so yeah, there's the classic fucking rentry bow right there. Now that we have that on the canvas, we just kind of choose where we want it. I want it like right here or something. Now, normally if this was just like a completely black and white image, like this bow was completely all black, you would go here and then choose clear white grayscale, but it's not. We could do clear white color, but then the inside of the bow here will be kind of transparent. That's weird, so I'm just gonna select all the white and clear it so it's transparent. Alpha tool, gonna make it black. I'm gonna add a layer under this and make it white. You'll see why in a second, because right now it's just transparent. If you want to do something like this, that's what you have to do. And now that you have that, we're gonna merge all layers together. Now that you've done that, go to this bar right here and click clear white grayscale. And you won't see a difference if you have the white canvas on, but you'll now notice that all the white parts are transparent. From here, you can, of course, still add other things if it's not cool enough for you. Just keep working with it until you're done. And once you are done, which I am, you want to add a new layer, clipping, and then you want to import the image you're going to use. And now that you have the image, you can leave it as is, but A big thing when it comes to making like graphics, profiles, rentries, you know, all that stuff, there's usually a color scheme. Now, of course, here, there is a color scheme. It looks good, but because of all the extra images and random stuff you like put on, I don't know how to explain it, but it just looks cutesy and aesthetic if you had a gradient map, and that's exactly what we're gonna do. So to do this, you do in fact need IBIS Paint Premium. If you are doing this on IBIS Paint, I'm pretty sure on Photoshop it's free. If you are in the boat of you're using IBIS and you can't use gradient maps, there's this amazing website that I found where you can do it for free. Go to the site at the top, or you can literally just Google gradient map and it's the first site that comes up. This is an example gradient I had. It is also open source. I'm pretty sure that's what this is. Yeah, unlike IBIS, you can actually choose the channel. So it should work the same. You can also set the blending layer of it. If whatever app you're using you can't use gradient maps, just look up this site. It's free to use. When it comes to gradient maps, usually how to make them is that it gets more complicated when you're using two colors, but for the most part, you just want to pick a color and then make it darker on this side and then brighter on this side, which is what this is showing right here. For this, because Kurumi's color scheme is green and purple, I'm going to make the gradient green and purple, or the thing is I'm going to attempt to do that. So I'm going to use this as a base. As you can tell, this one goes from like blue to pink with a little bit of purple, so I'm just gonna low-key take this and then hue shift it a little bit. What I've seen with a lot of gradient maps is that the first color starts off incredibly dark and then it just kind of goes light, and that's exactly what it is here. As you can tell, this is extremely dark and then it immediately goes pretty lighter. This is the finished result. Just play around with some colors that work well together. One thing I do when it comes to making gradient maps is sometimes I'll go on Pinterest and just search up color palette. I mean, I spell it correctly usually, like that. Yeah, I spell it like that. And you find color palettes kind of like this, and you just take those colors. Like this one would be perfect. You just reverse it. So the darker side is on here, and then you can just use that as a gradient map. This one or something. That's usually how I find gradient maps, but like that time I just played around with some colors. You can do either, or whatever works best for you. And then once you've done that and you think it still looks a little boring, sometimes what I do is that I'll add a layer from canvas, and then I'll go to style and add a bit of stroke. Give it a stroke. Don't kill it. And then glow outer. And then choose one of the colors from the gradient map. Another thing I actually forgot to mention that really gives your graphics an amazing touch is adding an overlay. One specific one that I use, but basically you can just look up overlay on Tumblr, or some other keywords as well, like rentry overlay, and you can see you get a bunch of these pictures with like textures on them. This is this one that I specifically always use, but I have tried to mix in some other ones. Like I really like these detailed ones with like the little diamonds on them, and like the little like the text too. I really like this one, but that really gives your graphics an extra pop. Basically, you import the texture. You can either just zoom in the texture or just click repeat. I'm just gonna do repeat because I feel like it looks better. And you're going to either set it to multiply or overlay, whatever you so choose. I think overlay is better for graphics that have a lighter look to them, and multiply is better for ones that have a darker look to them. And then if you would like, you can also use the same gradient map used on the profile picture on the texture. Now, right here, of course, it looks like very bright, so I'm gonna kind of lower it, maybe even make it multiply. I think it looks better light. You can tell that there is a difference. It looks a lot more, it looks textured. It looks very nice. Usually people use more like detailed ones where you can like really see the difference. I'll show an example of that now. This first graphic I found is pretty detailed. There's a lot of stuff going on. I'm personally gonna zoom this in because I don't like how it looks zoomed out. Also, when they're darker, it makes it more vibrant. I also found this pretty cool overlay that's swirls and stuff. I think this is a good one that would be on one of the eyes, so it's like really like centered on it. This I feel like is a good one to put the gradient map on because it just doesn't really match. So this is how it would look with a more detailed overlay. So you can try it out. You just kind of do what you do. I'm just giving my tips. So you can add an overlay, you can add a slight overlay, you can add a detailed one, whatever you think looks good with it. And now for a second type of profile picture, this one uses a frame instead of a mask. And I feel like it's usually easier, especially if you don't feel like making a mask from scratch or anything. This one, I usually just get the assets from Tumblr or Pinterest, so it's easy, I'd say. If you want to find a frame on Tumblr, literally just search PFP frame, and you'll get some pretty good options. Just kind of depends on what you want. These are masks. Masks and frames are different. Masks are when you make a shape out of an image, and a frame is when you put an image inside of that, if that makes sense. See, this is a frame. You're supposed to put the image inside of it. And once you found a good frame, you can just do what we did with the last profile picture, zoom it in but not all the way. And usually what I like to do with frames, I like to rotate a little bit. I usually do it to the left, but you can do it either way. I just prefer the left. And then what you're going to do is you're going to get a transparent art of the character, preferably full body, but it doesn't have to be. It could just be from like shoulders up, but it just works better if it's full body. And usually what I do, just to kind of cheat my way through it, is that I'll select the body here. Basically, the parts that stick out, I'm not going to select, and basically just separate those and put the bottom right here. So it's like she's sticking out of the frame. And of course, on the bottom part, we're going to remove the excess. You're going to merge these together, and then you're going to position it to be centered again. And of course, good old gradient map, the stroke, and the glow. And then, of course, the final touching of the textures. And just like that, your second style of profile picture is complete. For banners, it really depends on what you're making a banner for. This example will be specifically for Discord banners, but if you are, say, making a banner for your Tumblr blog, Twitter profile, you can just use the sizing for that. 𝐼𝐫𝐴 is actually really kind and gives you a Twitter header template. So you can just use that if you're making this for Twitter. For Discord, I have my size that I use for banners right here. If you are making a banner for your Discord profile as well, you can do that. You did the size because that's usually what I use. But this is just going to be for like any banner. Now, I feel like when it comes to banners, there's a few different styles of it. The first one is what I literally just call banner mask. I'll show an example of one I made that looks like that up on screen right now. The second one I just call like the lace and character banner. There's probably another name I can come up with that, but I'll put another example up on screen right now, but it's literally exactly what it sounds. There is a little lace at the top, and then there's a little character on the side. First, just doing the banner mask, I am going to choose bucket tool black. Okay. That's mean. I have this up just so I can figure out where I'm supposed to put the little profile picture. I'm going to bucket tool this black and then put this on top so I can see where I'm supposed to make the cutout. I'm going to make a little lace at the bottom here. Again, good going with my amazingly perfect and symmetrical laces, but nothing a good liquify pen can fix. Now for the actual profile picture like cutout section, I usually use an image of something, but for this I'm not going to because I want this to be all my design. So I'm going to use a square for this. If you guys are wondering where to get this background image from, basically just search up Discord banner size, go to images, and you'll find this, or like at least a similar one. You can basically do whatever you want for this bottom part. I just do those little laces because it's pretty common. And again, you can blur it if you want to, I just personally don't like to. Now for this to match with the profile picture, I'm as well going to add a little bow, and that I will find an image of because I'm on computer and I can't draw, but if I was on tablet, I would probably draw every asset, and I will probably make a few other sets like this that are completely drawn by me. And now once you have this done, yet again, we're going to go to the side, clear white grayscale, and it removes all the white. And then you can find an image to put on the mask. And yet again, with the gradient map. And to match, you can also add the stroke and glow if you want. And again, with last time, you can add a slight overlay or a heavy overlay, and I'm going to show how those look with this banner. Usually with the banner, you do need to repeat the texture because I haven't seen many textures that are landscape. They're usually square. So this is how it looks with the light overlay, which would match with the light profile picture. Because in the end, you basically want the profile picture and the banner to match. Because that's the whole point. You're supposed to make your profile look overly aesthetic to be cool and cutesy. And this is how it would look with the matching dark overlay. For what I'm doing, I definitely think I prefer the dark overlay, so if I was making this for like my profile to use, I would use this just because it looks more vibrant and cool. But again, if you want something simpler, you can totally go for something similar. The second way to make banners is really easy. Usually I just do this when I'm lazy and I want to put a lot of effort into it. What I do for this is I usually go on Tumblr and I search rentry divider, and it usually gives me some good dividers. Now, there are some ones that I call like simple ones, like this post specifically has these like simple ones that you can just make your own complex one with, but for the sake of this video, I'm just going to use someone else's. So yeah, once you've gotten a good image from Tumblr, or you made it your own, you combined a bunch of images from Tumblr, whatever site you used to look up, put it at the top. You want it to fit at the top. For the second part, you're going to want to find a transparent art of the character, preferably chibi, or like just usually like a square image of the character, so maybe they're like laying down or like sitting, or it's like I said, chibi. You want something like that. And if for Discord, because your icon is here, you want the image on this side, like the opposite side, so you can see it perfectly. Now, of course, gradient map time, because you want it all to look good. That is terrible. If you have a situation like this where you put a gradient map and it's just like not good looking, you can edit the brightness and contrast is usually what I do. And you can see now it's a lot more visible. And then of course, do the same thing we've been doing, the stroke and the glow. Now of course, texture time to match with everything else. And just like that, have your simplified banner. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, as chaotic as it might be, of me switching from topic to topic, not knowing how to explain anything. As you can tell, this entire video is unscripted. I decided to do this at the last minute, and I have completed this video in the total of 2 days. I need help. But anyway, just like my intro, I need a new outro. Bye, Nekoma. Stay gay. That is what the special tool is for, because this drawing of a heart is really special. From what I'm doing, I think